Stand by SOT1.
Standing.
10 seconds. Ready, rollin'. Ready, SOT1.
Ready.
In 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll in.
From legendary Uncle Studios in beautiful Southern California, welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters, the central location for you employees, you employers, and of course, we haven't forgotten about you damn independent contractors. And now, here's this week's edition of Work Comp Matters. And it's July 28th, 12 noon straight up. Welcome to another edition of Work Comp Matters. My name is Steve Appell, and I'm very pleased to be with all of you. I'm joined by the madman across the water, John Scalia, and my chief of staff, Dr. Mike Zyma, for another edition of Work Comp Matters. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the number one location for workers' compensation, and here come the sirens. Workers' compensation in both California and around the United States. Check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want, you can pick up their services. I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, number one computer management system, 818-357-4120. Well, folks, it looks like the ladies have gotten together again, and probably because of COVID-19, rather than getting together and wearing masks and dealing with responsibilities, they have decided to do hashtag challenge accepted. And of course, I think this is a beautiful thing. For those of you that have not heard, hashtag challenge accepted apparently started this weekend. I first got word of it yesterday. I don't know who started it, but women all around the United States, if not all around the world, are being encouraged to take a black and white selfie and then post it on the internet as a sign of female solidarity. And I absolutely love it because, firstly, I think the art of taking a black and white picture versus color and bold has sort of lost its way just a little bit, because you can get certain looks, certain shadows, the blending of black, white, and gray. And of course, on Work Comp Matters, we have talked about the black and the white and the gray before, but not in the context of a picture. But I think women expressing their solidarity. Now, what they're expressing it for, I have no idea, but I encourage all of you women listeners, I encourage any woman that's listening to me, go ahead and support the hashtag challenge accepted. And I have posted a picture of a woman that I know, that I see almost every day on this show. Those of you that are listening live, you can't see it, but on the rebroadcast in about 30 minutes, you will see. And I'll let you guys guess who she is. No, I'm not married. I was separated and divorced like 20 years ago. No, it's not my girlfriend. I don't have a girlfriend right now, but she is a woman that I deeply respect. And I see her like every day, and she is extremely important to myself, my business, my whacked out state of mind, and hashtag challenge accepted. I'm going to now read the first news story of the day. Governor Gavin Newsom, the Gav, is sending 3 coronavirus strike teams and $52 million in federal money to California's Central Valley as the region battles a spike in COVID-19 cases. The region is seeing the virus spread, particularly among Latinos, essential workers, and people who live in group settings like jails and nursing homes. The state will have a laser-like focus on stemming spread among those groups, the Gav said. I'm now going to go to my chief of staff, the doctor, but he's not a medical doctor. And he is married. Mike, does your wife support hashtag challenge accepted?
Well, that's the first I heard about that was about 30 minutes ago. So we will discuss this topic, her and I, tonight, as we sit there and watch the news.
That's fantastic. So go ahead and give us the next story.
Okay, medical professionals from the military have arrived in Los Angeles County to reinforce the ranks of 2 hospitals. The Department of Defense sent the Air Force teams last week to Los Angeles County USC and Harbor UCLA medical centers, said Brian Ferguson, a spokesperson for the Governor's Office of Emergency Services. The move aims to shore up staff as the hospitals battle the COVID-19 pandemic. And as an aside, I heard this morning on KNX that the medical community in Los Angeles County is bearing up. It's no piece of cake, it's no walk in the park, but they're doing okay. And this is certainly going to help.
All right. And a friendly reminder, since I'm going to go to John, go ahead and mute your mic. Thank you very much. Madman across the water, John Scalia. Are there any mad women across the water that are practicing hashtag challenge accepted?
I don't know. One of my friends in California, who's a very attractive attorney, posted a black and white with that hashtag, and I had no idea what it meant or why it was there. I mean, it's a nice picture because she's a pretty woman, but it just
Did you ask her? Did you ask her?
No, actually, I didn't. So maybe I will. I don't get it. I don't get posting it unless you explain why it's being posted and what it's all about.
It's for female solidarity.
Well, how did you find that out?
I found that out because I look at the internet.
Well, so do I. Oh, you mean you Googled it? The hashtag itself.
No. I saw a post on it. I did my usual minimum 60 seconds of research, and the purpose of doing it is for female solidarity. Now, if there's any secondary reason, I'm not aware of it, and I don't know who started it. But what I figure is that rather than going out for women's rights or having the Washington march where there were 1 million women, I figured maybe because we're in COVID-19 times, and hey, maybe if we weren't in COVID-19, they wouldn't have even thought of this, but they just figured maybe, and I'm speculating, what the hell? Let's just promote 2 words, female solidarity. Post a black and white selfie, and we're going to call it hashtag challenge accepted. The challenge is to post a black and white selfie for the purpose of female solidarity. And believe me, if I knew more, I would tell you.
Well, you understand I live in a country where we have a female chancellor and where gender equality is accepted as a matter of course, and where women can do whatever they want and nobody bats an eye. So, maybe in America, I know in America it's somewhat different, but I live in a country where gender equality is a reality.
So Merkel didn't post a black and white selfie, huh?
The only one I've seen was from the attorney in LA. It's the only one I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen any others.
Okay. And was she in a business suit?
It wasn't a formal picture, but she was well dressed. I mean, like a going out kind of outfit, and she's very pretty. So it was a shot of her face, and but I just was curious because I liked watching the picture because she's a pretty woman, but I had no idea what hashtag accept the challenge meant.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Yeah.
So go ahead, give us an actual news story.
Okay, I will begin by saying that I have a friend in San Diego who called me on my birthday. We talked for a couple hours, and he lives up in the hills. And he told me that particulate matter from the fire of the ship was flaking down into his swimming pool. Anyway, and that's what caught my eye about this article. This is from the San Diego Union. Smoke from Navy ship fire in San Diego contained toxic chemicals. Air sampling recently revealed that the Navy ship that burned in San Diego Bay early this month blanketed nearby communities with smoke containing toxic chemicals. As black smoke poured off the USS Bonhomme Richard, people in portside communities complained of headaches and nausea, and residents as far north as Escondido reported smelling smoke from the blaze. The findings from the San Diego Air Pollution Control District contradict earlier statements by the Navy that there's nothing toxic in there. They have probably the same PR guy that did Chernobyl. Testing found more than a dozen potentially harmful substances, such as benzene, chloromethane, and acetonitril, whatever that is. Still, state and local air quality officials agreed residents have little to fear, though. The relatively brief exposure is unlikely to cause any negative long-term health effects. At those levels over that short period of time, there were no known great health risks, said Donna Durkle. Oh, okay, I'm not going to read the rest of it. All I can say about that is you can't tell about long-term effects until there's a long-term.
And John, I couldn't agree more. California will funnel additional resources into fighting a surging coronavirus outbreak in the Central Valley. The GAV said yesterday, including $52 million in new federal aid, largely aimed at improving testing in 8 counties where the virus is spreading rapidly. Newsom said his administration would also send strike teams of public health, social services, and business regulation officials to help guide the response to the counties, which are seeing hotspots emerge among essential workers and the Latino community. Mike?
Well over half of California Latinos are very worried that they or someone in their family will get sick from the coronavirus, about double the rate of other demographic groups in the state, according to a poll released Monday. The Public Policy Institute of California found that 61% of Latino adults surveyed are very worried that they or a relative will come down with the virus, compared with 28% of white folks and African Americans and 37% of Asian Americans.
And I thank you very much for that. It is now time for our break. And you've been dialed in, or you're listening to Work Comp Matters. And we are, of course, talking about hashtag challenge accepted. My name is Steve Appell. We are brought to you by the workcompcentral.com. If you want the #1 location for workers' compensation in both California and around the United States, check out the workcompcentral.com. They've got a free 7-day offer. And if you want to pick up their services, I have them. You should too. It's only $1 a day. Work Comp Matters is also brought to you by A1 Law, #1 computer management system, 818-357-4120 for your no strings attached money back guarantee. $1 a day. A1 Law. Well, as you can probably tell by now, this show is pretty much centered around the hashtag challenge accepted. This weekend, somebody, an unidentified person, put out a challenge for female solidarity and challenged other women to post a black and white selfie as an indication of female solidarity. What they are so solidified on, I have no idea, but I love it. It is nice to see black and white selfies. I sincerely believe that the black and white picture has sort of lost something throughout the years. Everybody wants bright colors and everything like that. And the shades of black and white and gray molding together or whatnot, having shadows, you just can't beat it. And hey, I'm all about female solidarity. I love that. I'm all about black and white selfies. Ladies, please support hashtag challenge accepted and post your black and white selfie.
Can I say a word about black and white?
Say again, John.
Yeah, I think your point on black and white pictures is a good point. It brought immediately to mind.
Sure, we can talk about that. Go ahead.
The Martin Scorsese film Raging Bull, which he filmed in black and white.
Absolutely, definitely. Also, if you're familiar with, what is it, 3 Days of the Condor, Faye Dunaway and Robert Redford, where Robert Redford, he spends a couple of days with Faye Dunaway, who's a photographer, and I believe almost all of her pictures are in black and white, but she didn't take pictures of people. She took pictures of landscapes and leaves and trees, and just the shadows that they cast were absolutely wonderful. This is a good thing to go on. We can spend a couple of minutes on this. Mike, what do you think about black and white shots versus color shots?
Well, there's a certain retro aspect to it. I'll tell you what I think of, though, listening to you talk about female solidarity is a number of years ago out there in Poland, the beginning of the end for Russian influence over there, Lech Walensa's Solidarity Labor Union, Solidarność. It's a very powerful thing. Can be.
And they do say, of course, that pictures can be worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, unfortunately, Poland has backslid significantly. I had a meeting this afternoon with my marketer, who's a Polish woman, and she was we both expressed the chagrin about the countries that we come from and what's happening in them.
Well, John, what is happening over there?
And I presume, and after you answer Mike's question, I presume that she didn't know anything about hashtag challenge accepted.
It didn't come up.
Right. Mike, you had a question.
John, what is happening? I'm just getting little bits. Is there a like totalitarian regime back in place over there?
No, it's not totalitarian. It's just extremely right wing, and they're trying to roll back any progressive advances made in the recent past. It's extremely conservative, extremely right wing Catholic. I mean, they're going to roll back women's rights. They're going to, it's just the usual stuff.
But this time it's homegrown. It's not coming from Moscow, correct?
Right.
Well, that sounds horrible. Anyway, thanks for that update.
Thanks for that update. Coming back to California, the Sacramento Region Transit District announced yesterday that one of its bus drivers has tested positive for COVID-19, the district's third, who has become infected with the respiratory disease caused by the coronavirus. RT officials said they were alerting July 16 and 17 riders on Jibe Express, Rancho Cordo van, and bus route 33 of the driver's diagnosis out of an abundance of caution, according to announcements on the district's website and its social media accounts. Mike?
Insisting that compliance with health orders and infection control measures can slow the spread of the coronavirus. LA County public health officials said Monday that 3 more local businesses have been, and here's your word, Steve, shuttered.
Yes, shuttered. Thank you very much. And I've been saying that shuttered is becoming more and more used by podcasters, broadcasters, the written journalist media in the recent couple of months. Go ahead, Mike.
And the word has nothing to do with photography, by the way, have been shuttered due to large-scale outbreaks and failure to comply with operating protocols. Officials reported another 17 coronavirus-related deaths countywide on Monday, July 27th, and another 2,039 new cases, all part of the resurgent outbreak that has claimed the lives of law officers, healthcare workers, and Long Beach Mayor Robert Garcia's mother, pushed hospitalizations to record levels, and intensified inspectors' efforts to assure businesses are keeping their employees and customers safe.
John, you've got the next story.
San Francisco won't cite Catholic Archdiocese after church wedding. It appears San Francisco officials won't take further action against the Catholic Archdiocese of San Francisco following revelation that Saints Peter and Paul Church in North Beach hosted a wedding in early July, after which at least 10 attendees tested positive for the coronavirus, including the newlywed couple, two guests said. The wedding came just days after City Attorney Dennis Herrera sent the Archdiocese a cease and desist letter ordering church officials to stop holding large indoor services, which churches had been conducting in violation of the city's pandemic health orders. Now, to go further down the article, it says that St. Peter and Paul pastor Gail Sullivan, wonder where he comes from, said the parking and entry arrangements were not meant to conceal the wedding, but to prevent tourists or other onlookers from entering during the ceremony. Part of the accommodations for the event included having guests park in an underground garage and enter the church through a back door that led to the church interior. This seems to conflict with an email the bride's father sent to guests the day before, saying the arrangements were necessary due to concerns with the visibility to the public of the wedding. Well, in San Francisco, the Catholic Church getting prosecuted for anything is about as likely as Hitler getting prosecuted in Bavaria during the Third Reich.
And John, thank you for that very visual analysis. I appreciate that. Last March, pointing to the fact that many sentenced to death in America have later been found innocent, the GAV suspended all executions in California, calling the death penalty unfair and a failure. But at the end of May, a series of fatal errors by state and federal officials unleashed the virus in San Quentin, California's oldest prison, and contagion soon spread from the one unit to another, ultimately reaching the cells of death row inmates and killing several inhabitants. You know, I'm going to lay all my cards on the table, and this may sound crass, this may sound rude, this may sound a violation of constitutional rights, but in my mind, if someone is in San Quentin on death row and they die because of the coronavirus, I don't care. Mike, what's your take?
Well, I'm, of course, opposed to cruel and unusual punishment. There is a certain economy in letting the virus do that which the prison system and the courts have been unable to do. But I would not go that far. To me, it just smacks of cruel and unusual.
John, I know you may be against the death penalty. I think you are. I'm not sure. But if someone has already had their trial, they've had their appeals, they've run it out, they're on death row, and then they die of coronavirus, I don't care. What's your take?
Well, my take is, as we know, not everybody who's on death row deserves to be there. I mean, that's why the governor just stopped executions, which has been done before for that same reason. And then again, I would point out to the people who on the right, like you, who are constantly citing the Judeo-Christian tradition. And I would point out that certainly as far as alleged Christians are concerned, Jesus said, "What you do to the least of my brethren, you do unto me." Well, apparently people don't think that applies to the people they don't like. So I would just say, well, make up your mind.
All right. And that's good advice. That's good advice. Make up your mind. Well, we have come to, burning desires. Mike, John, burning desires.
Nope, thank you.
John?
Yeah, I would just point out, having grown up in San Francisco, I know how the Catholic Church gets treated there. I mean, they're part of the power establishment, and nothing they do is really probably ever going to result in their being taken to task for almost anything.
And as usual, John, appreciate your comments. Don't necessarily agree with everything, but appreciate everything you contribute to the show. Madman across the water, John Scalia. Much thanks also to my chief of staff, the Dr. Mike Zyma. Scott Walton of Uncle's Studio, all the good people back at WorkCompCentral and A1 Law. One last plea from me. Ladies, please support hashtag challenge accepted. Get your black and white selfies up on the internet and social media for all to see. My name is Steve Appell, and we will see you again tomorrow for another edition of Work Comp Matters. Bye.